Hello everyone, welcome to Forever United TV, your morning updates on the 23rd of May. That date in particular is important, not because it's starting the bank holiday weekend, because it is weekend today. We class Fridays as weekend here on Forever United TV. That's why you love us so much. But it is the last weekend of what has been an absolutely diabolically miserable season for Manchester United. This channel is going to be absolutely jam-packed with all of your positivity and transfer news of transforming this team around over the summer months. But at the moment, while the season is still playing out, we're dealing with the aftermath and fallout side of things, and that's where we're going in strong this morning. The fallout between the players and the manager. Where have we heard that before? Yes, it is a common theme with most managers when things and results are not going well on the pitch for Manchester United. We're going to delve deep into reports that have come out late last night regarding some players not believing in RUBEN Amarim, his approach, his system, how he actually feels so confident in what he's doing when the players are really struggling, how he cannot adapt to what the players want and the environment in which they need to perform in. I know. I know. If you're thinking like me or you've followed me on this channel for long enough, you will know where I'm going with this and what I'm going to attack this morning. But we're going to do that and bring up all of the other news as well. Ben Jacobs came up with a Jadon Sancho update. Again, we'll touch on the rest of what's happening with Matheus Cunha, when we can expect the announcements after yesterday's stories coming out that there is now a structured agreement in place between Wolves and Manchester United. So we'll have that, keep you informed on everything that's happened. And last night, the players, yes, just the players, had a lavish, and I say lavish, some £20,000 worth of party to celebrate the worst season in the club's history. And the staff were not invited. It was players only. Now, there is dividing the environment. There is separating the normal working class people from the privileged, prima donna, overpaid, whatever else you want to label on the players' heads. Honestly, the way that Manchester United are going about things at the moment, and you know I've been fair with the takeover and Ineos and balanced it out, this is not right. I'm just going to say this is going to make things 20 times worse, and there is a real divide from, like I just said there, the Ayatollah and the normal working people that have really done their jobs at Manchester United. There are only a certain amount of people at Manchester United that haven't done their jobs and haven't done their jobs right. And they're the ones that are being paid the most money. It does seem unfair. I'll get into that in a minute. I'll get your thoughts on that and what you feel. But from some private messages that I've had from Carrington, from what's going on there, do not read very well. Let's get the show started though, and let's get your comments in on everything we're talking about, around everything going on with the players so far. Let's get down to the football side of things. And that is that the players, apparently last night in reports that were going around, and Chris Wheeler from the Daily Mail was the one that was reporting this and was talking about the players' attitudes, the players that are not believing in RUBEN Amarim. Now, we've heard this before. This comes off the back of a story that I was told yesterday regarding Kobbie Mainoo. Privately, I heard this story before it hit the mainstream, but I had a little bit more detail on what Kobbie Mainoo's mindset was and how upset he was regarding not playing in that final. Like, I'm all for players being upset and not playing. It shows that they've got the passion and the love for the club, and they want to actually represent their boyhood club or the club that they've been at all of their lives. I get all of that, and I'm totally fine with that. The problem I've got is the entitlement factor that these players feel like they should be playing in these games. And being upset about not playing and that coming out, I haven't really got an issue, like I said, with that, but it's the now I want to stay at Manchester United statements coming from Kobbie Mainoo's people, probably not Kobbie Mainoo, but they're just gauging what he's feeling like. And Kobbie Mainoo has said that, or apparently feels like he is not... he's not sure about his future at Manchester United because of RUBEN Amarim. And then off the back of that, we got the Chris Wheeler reports last night, which was saying that some Manchester United players, in fact, I'll tell you what I'll do, I'll just read the actual piece out. A number of Manchester United players feel RUBEN Amarim is too overconfident in his approach and cannot understand why he puts so much faith in a playing system that is not suited to the squad. Again, I'm just going to come straight back on this and just hit this right on the head. You are the third highest paid squad in the Premier League, the 7th highest paid in European football, and you cannot adapt to a new system. Now, I'm sorry, you are the elite of the elite and are paid more money than anybody else to adapt to situations and adapt to a different style of play. You are professional footballers. I am not falling for this absolute crap that these players cannot adapt to a different style of play. I'm sorry, you've been brought up from being a child, all you've done all of your life, and we know that this is the case because players at the elite level have basically just been brought through academies all the way through because they are the best. They have been taught their entire lives how to play certain ways, different systems, different situations. All of this is embedded into their blood, and they cannot adapt to what RUBEN Amarim wants. No, I'm sorry, that I'm not having that personally. That for me is where I draw the line completely. And you would have heard me say this before. I've said it many a times. I don't and I will never understand how someone who has been in this profession for their whole entire lives cannot understand another element or another side or a system of how football is supposed to be played. I'm sorry. I'm not having it. And the fact that these players cannot adapt to RUBEN Amarim is where this needs to be hit head on, and not buckled again, and the pressure mounting onto a manager's shoulders like the media are running right now. All I'm hearing is Manchester United need to sack RUBEN Amarim. The project is over. RUBEN Amarim's time at Manchester United is clearly not working. The club is too big for him. He's got too much to do. Now look, if anything right now, RUBEN Amarim has done the best job as a Manchester United manager that anybody has post Sir Alex Ferguson. Forget about your trophies. Forget about what's going on the pitch right now. He has attacked the biggest issue, the virus which runs through this football club, which is the culture and the player power and that whole environment of entitlement around these players that these agents are driving, that these agents are running. Look, literally, before Ineos came in, you had the SEG agency walking around Manchester United's training ground like they own the place. Ten Hag allowing certain things to happen. That agency, like whether Ten Hag realised it or not, and you know my feelings on Ten Hag. I'm not saying this is his fault, but this is the environment that these people are put in. Maybe Ten Hag didn't realise that this wasn't the way. Maybe Ten Hag didn't realise that it was overpowering him and everybody, and too many chefs that were in that kitchen at the same time were literally spoiling the broth. There was too many opinions. There needs to be one man's voice who controls a lot of everything else that is going on, particularly around the players. And then that will spread. That will spread into a better working environment for everybody else. But while there is this separation and these players feel like they have been hard done to, and where they feel like they're not being paid enough, like all of the reports that are coming out, and this clouding their judgment on the football matters, the most important things that are going on right now. This, I feel, is where Manchester United will continue to fail going forward. And it starts with sacking RUBEN Amarim. You cannot do this. You cannot get rid of this manager now. Otherwise, you're all going to be sat there moaning about another manager coming in. Can you imagine, for instance, right now, can you imagine RUBEN Amarim gets the boot, and everybody who's been saying that this is over, he needs to adapt, he's shown no adaptability whatsoever at all, he isn't fit, he's too big for him. You get all of these people, and then Gareth Southgate walks through the door as the next manager of Manchester United. Oh, I know Jayden. He used to be a good player for England. Well, come on, Jayden, in you come. You've already got a contract. There's one less thing I need to worry about. Oh, look, there he is. Come on in, son. Mr. Marcus Rashford. Yeah, you can take my parking spot with one of your 8... I was going to swear. With one of your 8 supercars that you've got off this massive wage that you've been paid by Manchester United. You come, yeah, you park there. You run this football club. Of course you're going to play. Yeah, there you go. And then everyone's happy families again. The inmates are back into the asylum and they are pulling the strings once more. If RUBEN Amarim stays, all of that is gone. And is that not the base for Manchester United to start building from again? Is that not where Manchester United need to be right now? This player fallout and so-called not adapting to the way that these players want to play. I'm sorry, who put you in charge? Who made you the ones that were making the decisions? This is what they feel happens at United. This is over a decade of normal day-to-day running. Unless you stop this, unless you stand up to this, then this will just continue. Manchester United's players, and I said last night, I would sell everybody apart from Ahmad and the players that came in the 2 last windows, January and last summer. I would sell everyone. That's what I said. Like, get rid of everyone and bring in 5, maybe 5 to 7 players this summer. Yeah, you're not probably going to be able to get the marquee players. But look at what we've got right now, the so-called marquee players that have got Manchester United rock bottom. Rock bottom. All of the wages will be gone. There will be no argument about entitlement. There will be no argument about expectations because of the wages these players are on, how much we've paid for them. We'll be running like a proper football club. Yeah, we will have to accept that Manchester United are having to act like a bottom half, mid-half table football club. But look where we are. Look at the reality. Like, sponsors are ditching us. Crowds are becoming smaller. Manchester United are deteriorating from within. We are about to implode if we carry on this culture at Manchester United. And unless RUBEN Amarim stays, this will continue. And if anything, and this sounds like I'm not really looking into the future of things and the football side of things is being avoided here, but until you attack the actual real issue behind the scenes, and this is what I mean by the silent war, because these players will come out like Luke Shaw and Dalot, well, RUBEN Amarim's the man. I can tell you this for certain, he's the man. I'm sure Luke Shaw said the same for other managers as well at Manchester United. I'm sure Diogo Dalot is going to say that RUBEN Amarim is the man. Well, he underperforms season after season inconsistently and keeps getting into this Manchester United side. It's all about me, me, me. They're all thinking about themselves. They're all playing for themselves, and there is no accountability at all put onto these players. It's all on RUBEN's shoulders. Look at the deterioration of all of the managers that have been in at Manchester United. Everything is always aimed and everything is always to protect the Manchester United players, no matter what. And this is why I brought up this lavish party. They're falling into the same trap. Why are we having a party? And this has happened, by the way. I've had this confirmed. 20 grand spent on a party for the players only, no staff. Be very, very careful here, Ineos, in what you are doing, because this is going down a slippery slope of disastrous outcomes yet again. And if you don't attack this summer the way you need to attack it in terms of getting these players out of the door, then we are going to be sat here next season, like RUBEN Amarim said in his first game, in his first post-match interview, talking about the same players with the same problems, not being able to compete and trying to cover up gaping holes with a plaster or some tracing paper, which is just going to deteriorate over another year and then straight back to normal. Oh, there's that hole again. That's just come up. It's like someone filling in a pothole with bleeding Play-Doh. That's what it is. That's what Manchester United is. It's just going to keep on sinking and sinking. It's never going to be fixed because you haven't hit it at the foundation of the problem. That's what Manchester United need to do. And this player revolt, I honestly do not care for any one of these players, barring the obvious. And you know who I mean by the obvious. I would get rid of the lot of them. And if you're talking about making Manchester United the way that they used to be, if you're talking about rebuilding this football club, you cannot. It's like looking at a house which has deteriorated. What can you do? Can you fix it? No, you can't. You can't fix rotting wood. You can't fix brick that's decaying and got cracks in it. You smash it down and you build it right back up from the foundation. Manchester United have been destroyed by name this season by this squad of players. We have been dragged through the mud. The fan base has been laughed at, ridiculed, absolutely slaughtered by everyone else. The media have had a field day. Without Manchester United, the media would not have jobs. We had a circus that just keeps on providing. We're working overtime at the moment to entertain the world's media and everybody else in the football world. That's what United are. Stop it now. And then Manchester United start to build again. Why do you think everybody is laughing at United? Because they're all scared that if we get it right, then we will be back and we'll be annoying opposition fans and everybody will be jealous of Manchester United again going forward. Like that poll that The Athletic did. There was 3 football clubs when asked, opposition fans asked, who do you want to win the Europa League final? There was 3 football clubs in the Premier League which the majority of votes went for Manchester United to win that game. And they were the 3 London-based clubs. They were the Chelsea, the West Ham and Arsenal. They were the only clubs. And West Ham was about 51% to 49% hatred for Manchester United over Spurs. And Spurs they despise, and we know this. And that tells you exactly where everyone is. Manchester United have got an opportunity this summer that I don't think they're going to get again. You cannot give an excuse to these players to come back into this squad next season. You cannot give them the opportunity to walk back in. You have to do this now. It has to be drastic. Drastic measures are the only thing that are going to change Manchester United because we're in a drastic situation. And I don't think that Manchester United will ever get back to where we are going or where we need to be. And you've got to look at this now. If you look at the players, for instance, they psychologically, if they are not on board with what RUBEN Amarim is saying, then they can come out and say what's necessary. Trust me, you know, these players and RUBEN Amarim, for example, as well, they'll come out and tell the media one thing on camera and then everyone will report it like on Sky Sports. RUBEN says this. He's going nowhere. There's no issues there. Bollocks. We know behind the scenes that everything is being torn apart and everything is a disaster. Because at the end of the day, the psychological factor of players not being on board with what RUBEN wants, they can put all of that physical effort in. They can try hard, and like everyone says in interviews, they're working hard. They're going to make this better. We go again next weekend. Look, no matter what somebody says, inside if they're not on board with that system or don't believe in that system, then it's going to fail. And when everything has been said and done, and everyone said their piece, and everybody has put what effort they have clearly got inside them into this project, the only thing that's going to tell you exactly what's right are the results at the end of it. And the results at the end of everything that everyone's said, the amount of effort that's been put in, all of the statistics, everything that's there from this season, the only thing you need to look at is 0 trophies, worst ever finish in the Premier League, least amount of wins, most amount of losses, least amount of goals scored, the worst season in the club's history is all you need to look at. It's done. And it's done with this squad of players. There's no way back. There is no way back. If they try and make a way back, they will end up falling over again. And this, I think, is exactly where Manchester United are at right now. And RUBEN has come out and said he knows what this squad needs. A new one. He hasn't said that. I'm just answering the question for him because he won't come out and say that because the season's still being played out. So don't be blown away is what I'm saying by everything that's being said now within a season. RUBEN backing players, players backing RUBEN. When it comes to it, listen to what Garnacho says. That's the reality. That premeditated comment and actual series of events that happened before the game, during the game and after the game with Garnacho. I'm not listening to these ex-pros come on the radio saying everyone's emotional after a game. Everyone says things that they shouldn't say. I think it was Ashley Young who said it. No, Ashley, you're doing a job at Everton. Your punditry's not too bad, but you aren't involved with what's happening at Manchester United. Manchester United fans know that Garnacho has got form for this. He has got form on social media. He's done it to Ten Hag. He's done it with numerous things. And again, like the warning sign was there. RUBEN came in and hit this head on straight away. Why the hell would you not have Marcus Rashford and Alejandro Garnacho in your squad for the Manchester derby? 2 academy players that know everything about this football club, not in the derby. There's your problem. It's there already. And this hasn't been fixed. Like Romano said with Garnacho the other day on his YouTube channel. Look, Manchester United's relationship with Garnacho has changed since January. He needs to go. I'm telling you that. I've always backed this and I've always said it. And you all know I've said it. Since January, Garnacho will go. I've praised effort. I've praised him trying. But ultimately, deep down inside, I think even myself, I'm thinking he's doing this for himself to get a move away. He's trying to make himself look appealing so he can go away and get another deal at another football club. Thinking for themselves, playing for themselves. That's all Manchester United have done since January. That's it. If I can get a trophy, yeah, let's turn up in the Europa League and let's play these games out and make it look like we're doing something. Forget about the bread and butter because that's not going to count. But if I lift a trophy at the end of the season, bang, there's my move. There's my medal. I didn't play. I only played 20 minutes in a game when I played in every other game this season helping the team. You're paid by the club to play football under the instruction of a manager. Do you not understand how professional football works? He will make a decision and live by that decision. You don't come out and slaughter him afterwards. In fact, do you know what? Like, people can argue that RUBEN Amarim has also outed Garnacho in that. You know I disagree with that. Asked a question about a player's name, then mentions a player's name, and all of a sudden that's throwing him under a bus. I don't know. Mark Ogden has said a few pieces as well this morning. I'm going to come to the comment section in just a moment, everybody. I just want to get through the nitty-gritty of this. I know I've had a big opinion piece there, but RUBEN Amarim wants Manchester United to target players who will add pace, power and athleticism to his midfield this summer. Mark Ogden also saying before that one came out that RUBEN Amarim went into the game against Spurs in that final worrying about the physicality and Manchester United not being able to compete with Spurs' midfield and attack, and was proved right because United looked like they were playing against men while being boys in that final. It was pathetic how we didn't match up to Spurs. They just bullied us, like they have done in 3 other games this season before that final. 4 defeats to a shocking Spurs side in a season is enough to get rid of everybody. And that is enough to transfer every single one of them players out of this football club. It really is. Anyway, I want to move on to the comment section. There's loads of you coming in there in the chat. Thank you already, everybody who has liked the video. We have a ton of likes in. I'm just going to run through some super chats because they're all piling up right now. First of all, Manny says, I would have flown them to Carrington and made them do laps. Straight after the game, do you mean, Manny? I know what you're saying there. James says, if you can't adapt to a system, it means you lack strengths. This is why I'm glad we didn't win the cup, because a pay rise to all of them would have been abomination. Great point, James, again. I know me and you have talked about this before, James, actually, about the positive side of not winning that. Can you imagine this lot winning that trophy? And now, like, just let it settle in and let this sink in for a minute. Everything that I've just said and everything that's going on, everything that's wrong would have continued if United won that trophy. It would have given the club an excuse to hold on to certain players, but it would have made the club also pay out another 30 million quid in wages to these players, and would have taken us into the top 2, maybe top 5 paid squads in European football, which is ludicrous after our worst ever season. Maybe this, above anything else, is the most important thing, I feel. Dwayne says, I'm seeing reports that we are 1.2 million in debt. Half of that was spent on his players financially, in a hole with problems on the pitch. If we keep him, they have to keep that confidence till the end. Kind of like they're not his players. The only players in this squad right now are worth 21 million quid, mate. And that's Dargu and Aiden Heaven that he bought in January. RUBEN Amarim did not buy these players. They are not his players, so we cannot label him with that. If that's what you mean in any way, mate. Sorry if you're going about that a different way and I've not understood that. But thanks for the super chat, Dwayne. RUBEN Amarim did not buy this squad. This squad was already assembled, and RUBEN Amarim is just trying to make the best out of it by playing his way, and they don't like it. They just don't like the way that he wants them to play football. And there has to be balance, I get that, but honestly, did they not like the way that Ten Hag wanted to play? Did they not like the way that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralf Rangnick wanted to play? Jose Mourinho, Louis van Gaal wanted to play? Because there are players going far back as them managers that are still in this squad right now to this day, that are right now part of a £20,000 lavish party to celebrate this club's worst ever finish in Premier League history. Am I not making this clear? Can nobody see this at Manchester United? What is going wrong at this football club? It is an absolute abomination of this, what Manchester United used to stand for. It's dead, isn't it? That's what it is, the end of the day. Manny with another super chat says, Adam, the suffering has just begun. Hold on to your hat. The next couple of seasons will sort out the men from the boys, and finally fans will understand what RUBEN meant, as will the players. I'm looking forward to like this season was the big suffering. The only suffering that we're going to actually see now, I feel, is if these players stay. And the majority of these failures stay at the football club. That would be suffering for the Man United fan base. Andy says, thank you, Andy, for the super chat, mate. Hi, Adam. Any player criticising RUBEN should be sold. I would like Barada to put out a statement backing the manager and telling them exactly that. It would be nice, and I do think they could do that, actually. That this club is fully behind Ruben Amarim, and anybody that isn't in line with that system or the project or the vision will be let go of Manchester United. It has to move from the normal day-to-day workers to the playing staff now. It really does. I hope this lavish party was one of them where they just lined them all up and said, this is the last thing that you're going to get from this football club. That would be great. Roz, Super Chat, legend, mate. I have 11 sales, 2 loans and 15 keepers. I know these numbers are way under what will actually happen. 15 keepers, mate. Yeah. Another Super Chat from Dwayne. Thank you, Dwayne. If Amarim doesn't have a veto, I am very worried. Only Omar, Jason, Amarim and Vival should have vetoes. Too many cooks in the kitchen. You can't fix this without changing everything, with Ruben or not. Ruben does have to have a say on transfers, but Ruben also shouldn't have the main say on transfers. He cannot be allowed to be the one making every single decision, because Ruben's not going to last as long as anybody else at this football club. We know that. The manager's job at Manchester United or at any football club, even if you're successful, is a short-lived one. There has to be an element of a structure put in place that these managers have to work under with their say, if that makes sense. Like, Ruben will have a say, but he can't have the say. It comes down to Vival, Barada, Wilcox. They have to be the ones, because they're going to be here for years to come. Ruben won't be. Even if he's successful, we know he won't be. It's just the way that it goes. There has to be something that's in place that runs forever, that these managers do come and have an influence on, but not the full say on. I think that's the best way to go for United. And that's how most clubs would run anyway. No one's bigger than the club. See ya. Totally agree with that one, and thank you, mate. One thing that worries me though, Kobbie leaving it's the DNA. I don't care, mate. The DNA is really what is causing Manchester United a problem. Look at the DNA of Manchester United over the years. I did a piece on Manchester United's academy. Look where Brandon Williams is now. Look where Paul Pogba is now. Look where Mason Greenwood is now. Let Jesse Lingard now. Ravel Morrison, Marcus Rashford. Do I need to carry on? You could start to bring in Garnacho and the issues. Manchester United's DNA from our academy, and this is why I had a fallout with the club in having a go at this and going into a little bit of depth as the history of Manchester United's actual so-called DNA and academy. Like, it has been let go, and United are trying to sort this now. There is massive efforts at Manchester United right now, and everyone working in United's academy today is doing a fantastic job of trying to bring Manchester United back from this. But look at them players that I've just listed off there and where they are now. So the so-called DNA of Manchester United and our academy from years gone by, that has been part of the problem at this football club as well. There are certain people and certain players that are not within that list of players that I would put out there. There are certain players that are above that. Your Scott McTominays of this world, for instance. Your Darren Fletchers of this world. Players like this that are proper professional footballers that have come through and done everything right at this football club. That's what Manchester United are trying to generate now through our academy. 5 gifted memberships from Greg. Thank you very much, mate. Dwayne, again. Fact, these frauds can leave and get Europe. Yeah, I know. Like, these players will leave and actually be playing in the Champions League or in a European competition next season after performing the way that they have done for us and got away with it and left us with the crap that we've got right now. It's staggering, isn't it? It really is. How many players will leave the club this summer? That is the poll that is running right now. Nearly 1,000 votes on that already. Your options are 3 to 4, 5 to 8 or more. 5 to 8 is winning it at the moment with 55% of the votes. 26% second. 25% is running second is more than 8 players. I think there'll be 12 that leaves this summer. 12. What's this? A tweet here from Samuel Lucas. Just going through this now. It's the quick one. It's a piece that he's actually done. 5 points on Manchester United. Tone down pragmatism. Garnacho and Mainoo compromises. Recruit for the club. No sales off limits. Sack Brailsford. Next season can be a progressive one for Manchester United. Well, we'll see, won't we? I mean, everyone's got their opinion on what Manchester United need to do in the summer. I think I've just laid out my fundamentals in what Manchester United need to be doing. And it all comes down to the playing staff. It is the only thing that remains. Ineos have tore Manchester United to pieces. And the only thing that's staying, and the only thing that is still the same as it was before, are the players. It is that simple. The players. I mean, look at this, right? I've said at the top of the show, and I'll come into more comments in a moment as well, everybody. Give me your opinions and keep coming in with them, please. The issue that Manchester United have got that has been there for years, like this party, for instance, like the separation of the working people at Manchester United to the privileged. He's already building that divide that he's going to tear this club apart from within. They should have just put out a statement and said, you do not deserve a party. You don't deserve anything. Look, they decided not to go ahead with a presentation. The right choice. Even if we would have won the Europa League, Manchester United weren't going to do an open bus parade. The right choice. Stop celebrating mediocrity. Give these players nothing back at all. Let them understand that you're working and you're playing and you're representing what once was one of the biggest clubs in the world. And the only reason once was is in that sentence is because of you. And you're underperforming year after year. Your self-entitlement, this has to be my way, there is no I in team, all of them factors. That is the mental attitude of this playing staff, of this squad at Manchester United right now. I'm not having a go at Kobbie with this here. I'm just using it as an example because it's the latest thing to come out. But Kobbie Mainoo's worried about his position in RUBEN Amarim's team. And this is why he's not sure about signing his contracts. Now, please, honestly, everybody, don't think that I'm having a go at Kobbie Mainoo with this here. I love Kobbie. I think he can be a great player. And his ceiling is still, I don't think, been reached. I think there's more to come from him. But when you break down that statement there, or that report, or so-called report, if it is true, there's a few people saying it now. Like Kobbie Mainoo wants to stay at Manchester United. That's great, and that sounds good. But go into the depth and go into the detail of what's been said here. But he is unsure about his position in RUBEN Amarim's system. I'm sorry. Make him sure that you belong in this system, Kobbie. Go out there and prove that you should be in this team. Is that not the attitude that these players should be having right now? Make it clear to the manager that you belong in that team. Why don't you do what Casemiro did, having been left on the bench as an unused substitute for 7 straight games while Manchester United capitulated, saying nothing, doing nothing, just grafting and working behind the scenes, and now all of a sudden is an integral part of what RUBEN Amarim needed towards the back end of that season, was a better performer for United. Look, if it's Kobbie saying this or not, if it's representatives coming out and saying this, then it's still Kobbie Mainoo. They represent him. Shut up and play football. Go out there and make the manager pick you. Is that not what every single professional footballer should be doing in the world? Why is it so different at Manchester United? Oh, I'm just not sure that he wants me. You make him sure. And then you go out and perform in a way that makes it impossible for him to drop you. There isn't one Man United player in that squad that can say this season, I'm undroppable. You could argue maybe at the moment what Ahmad from his early performances in the season. Lenny Yoro at the moment, I think, is undroppable. You name me one other player in that team that warrants a spot without doubt or picks himself. You could argue a point for Mazraoui. Maybe for De Ligt. I'm thinking like Bruno, you could argue, but like literally Bruno's last couple of performances, I wouldn't play him in the next game. Well, I would probably play him because there's other players that are even worse than him, and like we're running out of bleeding options here. But that, I think, is what we're looking at right now at Manchester United. It's a shambles. It really is. How these players have got themselves into a position where they're dictating what is happening. Honestly, cut it off. Just cut it off. Sorry, Kobbie. We're selling you. We're selling you. That's it. Sign the contract. Sign the 80 to 100 grand a week contract, or you're being sold this summer. That's the line. That's the line. I want him to stay. But he stays under Manchester United's rule, under what we want, with us running it. The structure needs to get a grip this summer. It really does. Otherwise, they're going to be overpowered and they're going to look like fools. The reputations of Vival, Wilcox, Barada, all these successful football stories that United have brought in, best in class. I agree with that, because their resumes speak for themselves in what they've done in their football careers. United will destroy them, and it will be the players and the agents that do it. Make that call, draw the line, and make the decision. That's what needs to happen this summer, and nothing will change unless you do take control of this playing staff, of this playing squad. It won't change at Manchester United. It won't. And just to emphasise my point at the top of the show again on this, RUBEN is the only manager in over a decade at this football club to come in and stand up to what I'm talking about right now. And it sounds selfish of me, and I've said this before and I didn't go forward with it and explain it properly, but this is what I mean by it. You can say and you can argue with me. You cannot just keep a coach for that reason, Adam. He has to have a way, he has to have a plan, and you are right. I am wrong, you are right. But right now, Manchester United, after everything that I've just explained and the hole that we're in, it needs that drastic measure to actually turn this around. Maybe you will be convinced by RUBEN Amarim's system. Maybe he gets players in that want to do what he wants them to do. Maybe you will be convinced. But you cannot tell me there's a better chance that these players are going to turn it around with another manager in, rather than getting rid of these players and giving RUBEN a chance for another season. You cannot tell me that that is the best thing to do, because I'm not having it. At least give RUBEN Amarim another season with a transfer window to work his magic on these players and see if he has got the capabilities. And then I think that's fair judgment and fair time. You cannot just say he's not good enough now, when we're hearing everything that we're hearing about how these players are running this football club. It's not fair. When you compare him to other managers anyway, it isn't fair. And that's where I think United need to draw that line that I've been talking about all of this show. Let's get back RUBEN Amarim this summer. Let's see what we can do next season. It's going to be an improvement. I mean, we're rock bottom right now, so anything next season is going to be an improvement. More time on the training ground for RUBEN Amarim. Let's see what he is as a coach. There's nowhere for RUBEN to hide next season at all. And I will be with you all. And I will be judging RUBEN Amarim on top of that. I really will. I will be looking at him and saying, I need to see this. I need to see this vision. I need to see this system working. I want to see a style of play. You have got all of the time on the training ground that you need. There is no flying out to foreign countries. There's no extra media duties. All you have to do is concentrate on football. And this is why I said after the final, I don't think that really upset RUBEN Amarim losing that final. I think he knows he's got the backing from the board. I think he knows he's got next season. And I think he knows that one season out of Europe for this squad, when he gets rid of everybody he needs to and bring in players that he knows are going to work for him, he can get what he wants out of these players. They're going to be fitter. They're going to be better to attack the Premier League. And we will move up that table next season. Even if we get rid of 12 of this first team squad, we will be better next season. Guaranteed. If not, sacked. See you later. And we will see very, very soon into the season what will happen with RUBEN Amarim. And we will start judging. And I'll be there with you. Look, and do you know what? On this, I'm not going to say that I am right. RUBEN needs to stay because of all of that. I've just said it a moment ago there. Look, everyone's opinion, and I can see them all piling in the chat. And a lot of people disagree with what I'm saying, and it's not right. And you cannot act that way. You're right. You are. But the bigger problem is what I'm talking about. The bigger problem always will be what these players are doing and what these players are getting away with. And if they're gone, then we can properly judge football matters. Right now, we cannot judge football because these players are not capable under RUBEN Amarim. They haven't got the right attitude and they have destroyed this football club. They have destroyed it. And this all comes from the way that Manchester United have been run over the last 20 years as well. Let's not forget, they have been allowed to get away with it and they think this is normal. The bigger problem at this football club, yes, the players are an issue right now, but it's the ownership that has let these players come in and run this way. We've changed it last summer, and this is the first real period of time now where we can actually judge this system and what is happening at Manchester United properly. But I'm telling you right now, we're going to be sat here again next season moaning about the same shit performances unless there is about 12 of this first team outed. I'm talking like you get rid of the obvious. Anthony, Rashford, Garnacho, Malacia, Lindelof, Ericsson. Evans isn't a problem, by the way, just too old, and obviously circumstances dictate, pretty much like Heaton, pretty much like Bruno Fernandes. Like the situation tells us we need to get rid of them players. I'm already both hands up with the amount of players that need to leave, by the way. Then we move into the Garnachos. Then we're moving into the Andre Ananas, the Rasmus Højlunds, the Diogo Dallos of this world. That's when we start to make real money on top of all of these players. Can you do that in one summer? No. If I'm being honest, I don't think that's possible. It's too much work. But one thing you can do is attack the majority of that. And there are levels of importance of players that need to be dealt with in everything that I've just said there in that big list. And they will know it. They know that they need to move these players on. Right, I need to get into the comment section. I've said way too much today. I do apologise. Thank you, everybody, though. You do seem to be liking it because we've had over 400 live likes, which is crazy. I love that, everyone. Thank you so much. Jonathan Wood, welcome to the members club. Ant, Ineos system, not just Amarim's. Remember that. Ineos' system in terms of the structure, 100% Ant, you are dead right. It needs to be them that are judged as well as Ruben Amarim going into next season, and they will be. Like we've said, give their manager that they've brought in some new players and see if their recruitment has worked alongside Ruben Amarim and their choice to recruit Amarim on top of all of the players. That makes sense. Next season is full judgment on the football side of things for Manchester United. You can take the politics out of next season. There's no European football. All we're talking about is training and building a team to actually be competitive in the Premier League. Anthony Flo, well, thank you so much for that super chat, mate. Question for Amarim Outers. What new manager do you want that is going to come into this mess? We need to stick with him. We cannot keep sacking managers. It's not worked in the past and it will not work long term. No, I get it, mate. Totally. There isn't anyone to come in right now and fix these players, I don't think, unless they bow down to what these players want. And that will get us so far. It will never get United competing in the Champions League and the Premier League week in, week out. They've proved that already. Like there's no manager that's come in that has bowed down to these players that has been successful. Not to the right level. Yeah, you can talk about the trophies that have covered up the cracks. Definitely. But still, there is not one manager that has come in and been successful with this team. Amarim had a meeting 2 weeks ago with the board and told them he wants a smaller squad of dedicated players with work ethic than the group he has now. Says shenanigans. If that is true, then I hope that is the way forward for Manchester United. Ross with another super chat says keepers Mazraoui, Delit, Slabed, Martinez, Bruno, Xerxes, Dorgu, Yoro, Heaton, Agate, Heaven, Leon, Amas, Collier, Ahmad, Chido. I would sell Bruno just for the money, mate, right now in the situation out of all of them. Delit and Mazraoui, Martinez, I would sell Martinez as well. Yoro and Heaven, definitely keeping them. Collier, not had enough time. Ahmad, definitely keep. Agate, anyone who was brought in under Ineos so far, with it only being the last year, I think needs to stay at Manchester United to be given a chance. I think that's what we need to be looking at. Andy Williams says, yeah, because we look like we will be competing anytime soon. I expect any United manager to be able to win more than 3 games in 5 months. Yeah, bowing down to the players, mate. That's what it is. Why can't these players win these games while playing Ruben Amarim's system? Are they not good enough to change the way? Look, we're finding excuses to blame Amarim. That's what what I think you said there, Andy, really. Nuke says, not sure the players or manager is good enough. Why force a group of players to use a system they can't? It doesn't make sense. Why can't they make the system work? They're professional footballers, Nuke. Like, they should be able to adapt to any system on the planet. Like, seriously, why are we making excuses for these players? I don't get it. I really don't. That's where I just get confused with everything that's going on. I don't get that these players are getting let off because of Amarim's system and in making them do something that they cannot do. It's not there for me. I don't get it. I never will. And that's just my opinion on that. Look, again, I'll judge Amarim next season. And I'll be with you all on that as well. If Amarim isn't pulling it out next season, then, yeah, I'm with you. Nigel, welcome to the Members Club. Greg, Super Chat comes in with whether RUBEN in or out. If Barada sacks him before one window, then we should all be alarmed. Expect 2 managers next season. I know he's staying. We all know that RUBEN is going to stay. Look, I think we can all just hold off. Even if you are not happy with RUBEN Amarim right now, you can at least hold off to judge him properly next season, surely. What you cannot do is allow these players to out another manager and say that he isn't working for them. Like, no other club has come out with these stories or these issues anywhere in the Premier League. It's staggering. Look, thank you everybody for all of the likes. Like, nearly 500 live likes is amazing. Please pop a like on the video if you are loving the content, everybody. And make sure you hit that subscribe button as well. We're on the march to 80k subscribers. Almost there. We are buzzing right now and moving along fast. Like I said, this show will be jam-packed with all of your transfer news and all of the updates. What I'm hoping are going to be positive going into the summer. We are going to be live 7 days a week, 2 to 3 live shows minimum every single day, keeping you fully up to date, fully committed by myself. No matter where we are, whether we're on a break, on holiday or anything, we're going to be here with all of your updates on Manchester United as always. Dwayne with another super chat says, sorry Dwayne, that's gone off my screen there. I'm always going to support my club, but fecking hell. Yeah, I know what you're saying. I get what you're saying there. It isn't very clear what you're saying, but I get it. I do. It is that. Adam, why can't Amarim make them play that system? They are resisting him. Are they resisting him? Question mark. In this case, they are problems. The players are refusing to play a certain way that has been proven to work elsewhere by this manager. Then the players are the problem. It's the players. We cannot keep making excuses for players. We cannot. MB says, what's the difference between one manager using 3-4-2-1 and another manager using 3-4-2-1? The answer lies in your answer, personal tactics. Again, I'm not even questioning that, MB. I'm questioning the actual footballing IQ of our football team. The fact that we've got a young academy player holding this club to ransom to sign a contract which he doesn't deserve, over the fact that he doesn't feel like he is the right man for RUBEN Amarim. He is dictating to the club what happens. And if he gets away with this, and his people do get him in, then we are stuck. We are dumbfounded. Look, you can bring all of your system quotes in and everything that you want. I will be with you all the way, like I've just said. Like, you cannot keep just going in on RUBEN Amarim and his tactics and his systems until you've seen him use some of his players. And players that he knows are going to work hard enough for him. If these players are not going to work hard enough for him, then his system is going to be flawed no matter what he does. It's the work rate, the physicality, like being bullied by Spurs. These are things that RUBEN cannot change what happens on a pitch. Certain decisions by players. Like, you cannot look at it that way. I mean, for instance, Bruno Fernandes gave the ball away in that game that led to the goal. Now, I'm Bruno Fernandes' biggest fan. Even MB there. Me and him have had plenty of debates about Bruno Fernandes not being the right man to take Manchester United forward. Bruno Fernandes let RUBEN Amarim down because he played a pass poorly that wasn't on, which led to Manchester United's goal. Then his goalkeeper decides to go down in slow motion. Patrick Dorgu decides to turn off from marking his man at the back stick, who comes in and scores that goal. It loses us the game. That and them moments RUBEN cannot control. The players are in the positions that they need to be in. They've all made individual errors on the pitch. It's been switched on. It's then having that mental attitude to actually recover from that in the game and still carry on playing that system, and they abandon it instantly. That's what I'm talking about on this. Look, I could go on forever and a day. What I'm going to do, I'm going to leave it there, everybody. We're at about 50 minutes now. God, we could talk forever and a day on this. Do you know what, guys? Everybody in the comment section, I can see all of your comments coming in. They're all absolutely bang on point. They really are. This is a great debate this morning. I've absolutely loved this show. And even people that I've said, like MB there, for instance, and plenty of others I've seen that have disagreed with what I'm saying on RUBEN Amarim. It all adds to a good football debate, and that's what I love on this channel. I've made my point. I've made it very clear. I don't agree. I don't agree in what's going on right now with everything that's happened at Manchester United. It's horrible for Man United fans to be debating this way. It is, in terms of fallout, and I've seen plenty of it. I've seen plenty of fans arguing amongst each other and actually really falling out over what is right and what is wrong at Manchester United. Another one here from Kaz, actually. The formation won't work if the players are not mentally on board with it. Yeah, it won't. It won't. If they're not willing to put the maximum in to play this system, it will never work. Even the ones who try and want to do it for the manager, will be impacted by the negativity of the formation. Look, if 3 or 4 players are not on board with the system, it's going to affect everybody else's game. It needs to be a full team. And until RUBEN Amarim has a team of players that are his, that he 100% knows are going to work and work in his system, then we're not going to be able to judge him properly. A team that was challenging for the championship, that was Manchester City, and winning the league, Pep Guardiola came in and got rid of a goalkeeper and a back 4 and replaced it all because they weren't players that would work in his system. That is it. That's the biggest point in all of this here. If they're not willing to put everything in, the system falls down and you cannot judge the system properly. It's all down to the attitude of the players, I feel, more than anything else. And that's where I stand with it. And when he gets his players in and this isn't working, then RUBEN's going to be the one that takes the fall. But look, for now, everybody, please do pile your comments into the comment section. Let me know what you think about all of them topics there. It is mainly around the player unrest and the player attitude. Give me your thoughts on this. In terms of the poll right now, we're just going to finish that up. That has finished with a resounding win for the amount of players leaving Manchester United this summer. 3 to 4, 5 to 8, or more than 8. 5 to 8, 53% of the vote has won that one. Give the video a like on the way out, please, everybody. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as well to keep up to date with everything going on at Manchester United. I will leave you all with that. I will be back with updates throughout the day if anything does break. And obviously, we're live again this evening also, everyone. So I will see you all later. Enjoy your Friday. Bank holiday starts now. One more game for us to get through as Manchester United's worst ever season. That's got to be a